Guilt has ate his ass up. Don't be like I'll be sure. Okay? That's what I want men to do. He better be glad that he has some decent women that wouldn't stand over him as he sleep. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl B Octavia, and I am back with yet another video. Now today I do want to talk about Quincy and I'll be sure, but specifically I'll be sure. Why in the world is my community trying to push Quincy to run into his daddy's arms? His daddy, who didn't have a hand in raising him, mind you. Absolutely not. We will be focusing on I'll be sure, who is a retired R&B singer, who mainly kept his claim to fame by having a face card that did not decline. Now, his time is up. So what I can say about I'll be sure right off the bat is that I'll be sure's career didn't take off or stay popping like it was supposed to. And you want to know why? Because I'll be sure could not stop creating broken homes, leaving women, including, not excluding, including Kim Porter, to raise children he helped create. And while we're being honest here, the only thing that trumps the pain that he has caused the women he had dealings with is the pain that he continues to cause upon his children. He is saying a lot now that he should have said decades ago, and decades ago he should have been a better father. Ever since Kim Porter's death, I believe it was in 2018. If I stand corrected, I will put it up here on the screen. Ever since her death, I'll be sure has made several successful attempts, I can say, to land on the blogs with allegations that Kim Porter was murdered. He has also recently gone viral for saying that his son Quincy has Stockholm syndrome because Quincy is supporting Diddy and showing up to all of these court proceedings when Diddy is the only father that Quincy has ever known. Because Quincy is not running to his father's feet, his biological father's feet, in the midst of all of this Diddy drama, arrested fiasco, sex trafficking trial coming soon. Because Quincy has not done that is why I'll be sure is now saying that Quincy has Stockholm syndrome. So before I get deep down into I'll be sure, let me take you back in time. Just briefly, Kim and I'll be sure got together in 1988, married in 1989, and young Quincy Brown was born June of 1991. With how I'll be sure described his involvement in raising Quincy was that he was there for him, but that their relationship was strained at times. However, in Quincy's perspective, his recollection of his childhood was totally different from what I'll be sure was describing. Quincy stated that as a kid, he wondered about his real father and where he was. I could say Quincy alluded to, but he flat out said, I'll be sure his dad, his real dad, was absent during his childhood. A huge reason why I'm making this video is because I'm triggered. With everything that I'll be sure has said, I've never seen I'll be sure acknowledge fully that he wasn't there due to selfish reasons. I've never seen, heard, in any interview or article that I'll be sure acknowledged that. That's a problem. No matter how old your child gets, they still deserve an apology, or you just opening up and being real. You got to realize as the parent, I'll be sure, that he doesn't have to run to you if he has never had that as a luxury. And I strongly believe that with the tirade, I think that's the word, or the rants that I'll be sure has been on, I strongly believe that if Kim Porter was alive today, I'll be sure himself would blame Kim Porter for him not being able to see Quincy. He would definitely blame her if she was alive for keeping him away from his son. And this is the thing about guys. Like, I would hate for a guy that I've dealt with and things just ended. You feel what I'm saying? But I pass away, God forbid, and a nigga now, not then, trying to profess his love that he has always had for me and wanted to marry me or stay married or fuck all that shit. Don't be fake, sir. Because I said the same thing about Diddy when he would post her. Why Diddy would ever want to take Kim Porter's place as far as in death is because of what he is facing now. And again, let me stay focused. The only two good things that I'll be sure has done in his lifetime, in his career, in his last few decades is creating beautiful children, as well as bringing attention to the fact that the only book that is said to be an autobiography of Kim Porter's was in fact made, created, drafted, published by a person that doesn't know her at all. A person that created false stories to fit the narrative of the last decade of Kim Porter's life and wanting to expose Diddy when in fact she did not create that. This book was created to be the perspective of Kim Porter's diary, but now the author is saying these stories are real, to him. Those are the only two good things that I'll be sure has done. But if you would have done right by her in the first beginning, stayed faithful, and grew older together, you would have been right by her side taking care of her. She wouldn't have died alone. She wouldn't have died alone if she still had a supportive, loving partner, faithful to what a marriage is supposed to be. He could have been that person. But instead now, he just comes out on social media and says things that you could have had a hand in preventing. And listen, guilt, I know exactly why he is drafting these Instagram posts. I know exactly why he is mentioning her so much, and now he is riding until the wheels fall off. It's guilt. Guilt has ate his ass up. He has an inability to put the blame where it needs to be. Shame on you for putting down a man that had an intricate hand in raising your son. Shame on you. Your son. Your son. Not his son. Not Puff Daddy's son. Your son. So, prior to Diddy and Kim Porter meeting each other in, I believe it was 1994, during them years in between of 1991 and 1994, where the fuck was you? Because baby daddies pop up at any time, right? You could have fought for your family, and you was cool with another man raising your son. Why not scream to the rooftops about you not being able to see your son at any point in the 90s or early 2000s? Why is it taking for it to be 2024 and your son is a grown-ass man for you to be fighting to see him and talk to him and interact with him? He don't want that shit no more. Little kids want that. When they raised without it, but he was blessed to have somebody. Listen, I said it in my last P. Diddy video. We can say a lot of things about Diddy. And a lot of things have proven to be true within this indictment and within photo evidence and things to that nature. But we can't say that he was a shit father. Totally. A shit father is, I'll be sure, a person who didn't mind at all being distant, disconnected, and far, far away from any responsibility of being an actual parent. I'm riding for Kim on this one. I'm riding for Kim because I'll be sure's intentions in speaking on Kim Porter. Cry about that shit in private, but cry about what you didn't do. Cry about what you didn't do with that. Cry about what you didn't do as a father. But I guarantee you that Quincy would still want a motherfucking apology, and you're just going to say he has Stockholm syndrome? Doesn't make sense. All I'm saying is, why not expose the freak parties before the whistleblower of this shit said something? And you knew what was going down. I'll be sure. I'll be sure that you knew. I'll be sure that you knew exactly what was going down. And as much as a freak as I'll be sure was, he was there. And I know for sure if he wasn't there, he wanted an invite. You were okay with another man raising your son. Just like you was okay with Kim being with Diddy. From Cassie's experience, we can surmise that Kim Porter went through the same, if not way worse treatment than Cassie did. So I'll be sure coming out so late saying that Diddy is sick is way too late for me. It's so late in the game that honestly it's outrageous that he's saying that this is now how he feels about everything. Now that Quincy is a grown man, you or anybody else who feels the same type of way should not expect Quincy to run to anybody who he wasn't raised by, who he didn't seek guidance from, who he wasn't mentored by. They had the same amount of looks. Quincy does look a little better, you know what I'm saying, with pertaining to certain things facially. And his face card is not going to decline as fast. And you want to know why? It's because Quincy actually is a good person. In this moment in time, it's not so much that he is supporting Diddy. He is supporting his family, his brothers. That, yes, they come from different mothers, but what the fuck that got to do with it? He is supporting his younger sisters in the stuff that Diddy cannot be. He couldn't, even before his arrest, he just couldn't be there. It would have been too much about Diddy and not about them graduating and them going to prom. The regular stuff that they are entitled to have a good experience. Quincy is doing a lot for the sake of his family. And you could have been an added bonus help to all of this. And instead you just want to be a op. How would you think that his other siblings would feel? He's the oldest. He's holding his siblings down. He's doing what, let's just be honest, a lot of older siblings, whether they got a lot going on or not, they wouldn't drop everything to show as much support as Quincy and the other one has. I think the other one is older, but he don't act like it, okay? When it mattered for Quincy to have I'll Be Sure to run to, he didn't have him. When it mattered, this right here is not when it matters and when it counts. The only person that it would count for is for I'll Be Sure's ego. And for him to show to social media. when you really could have had a better relationship with your son this whole entire time? Doesn't make any sense. I would hate to know that I and my child mirror each other as far as on the outside, and it just does not match up on the inside. He's a good person. You are not. Why would he ever run to you? And what would you want him to say? Dad, which is cringy because you ain't been there. Dad, you were right. About what? I'll be sure became a whistleblower way after any of these lawsuits. Way after any, like, let's not and say that we did. Let's not and say that we did. So, I've said a lot. Don't be like I'll be sure. Okay? That's what I want men to do. My heart cries for Kim Porter, for all that she has had to endure. And this is all happening years after her death. So I know that way up in heaven, she can see all of this shit going down. But I would love to hear her stance, hear how she was raised, hear all of the good things and honest opinions on what's going on today. If I was Quincy, I wouldn't run back to his ass. Run back to what? That's running back to unfamiliar territory, to be honest with you. Can't do it. Won't do it. You can't expect that. Nobody can. And that's why I feel like our community, the black community, is so torn. Is because we keep trying to go the toxic route when it's like I'll be sure has to do things so that their relationship cannot be strained even further. You can't sit up and think that with his perspective of growing up with his mom, that you can now say all of these things and he won't feel some type of way. He has actually seen his mom cry. He has seen the dark moments. I'm sure that he has consoled his mother many times about being in the position that she was in, of not having his father around. It was nothing that she could do. Nothing. And people say, oh, you can, basically what you're telling me to do is tolerate disrespect, tolerate, a person who really doesn't want to be a father at that time. Let's be honest. Some guys, they love to be a stand-up father once the kids get older. Once the kids get older, they want to take them to all these places, do all this shit. We wanted help as women with the babies. We wanted support and backing with the actual babies and infants that we had to raise up to be very, very decent, upstanding folks. And Kim Porter did that. She instilled a lot of good in Quincy. And that's from her experience not being so good. And continuously dealing with these men who we see ain't shit. So I'll leave it there. That's basically what I wanted to say. I wanted to get off my chest how I really feel about I'll Be Sure, and how I feel about him saying all these things that don't mean anything now. Means nothing for you to profess your love now. Means nothing for you to say how sick Diddy was when you could have been a whistleblower in the first beginning. But for whatever reason, whether you were scared or not, you chose not to say anything until you got social media's attention and blogs' attention. It's corny. And Quincy can see straight through it. Try to be a father and not gain so much attention and notoriety for the love that you say and you claim that you have now for Kim Porter, for Quincy. Doesn't matter. Quincy is like 30-something. And now that you run down, your looks not getting you places. and all of these things when you could have took care of yourself. You just worrying about getting in this bitch drawers, that bitch drawers. I hope a lot of guys is paying attention, because I'll Be Sure was a fine motherfucker. But with as many domestic situations and broken homes that he created, he could have been killed or snapped by how he did many, many women. Guys better pay attention. He better be glad that he had some decent women that wouldn't stand over him as he sleep. Dangerous position. You find men, attractive men, you cannot put yourself in a position to be the victim. Amen. Amen. All right, so with all that being said, I'll Be Sure will forever be a deadbeat, because he never took up that role. He never really wanted it. He wanted to see the product of his seed being planted, and that was just yet another ego boost. Photo shoot when the baby is a baby, when the kid is a baby, and then he out. You feel me? So no respect goes to I'll Be Sure, and I already said what he did good. Creating children, even though they were from broken homes, and they probably suffer from that to this day. I can keep going on and on about I'll Be Sure and what he didn't do, but I'm going to get on out of here, because I got other things to do. It's your girl, Octavia. I'm going to see y'all in my next video. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for 14K, almost 14.2K subscribers. I want to thank y'all so much. Go ahead and watch my YouTube shorts, because that boosts my engagement even more. And I'm going to see y'all. Peace.